Hi, Carrie here, and this is going to be a reading of Sky's the Limit, which is a sequel to Blood Flow, which I will link a reading of in the description. So, yeah, let's do this. Come here, sweetheart. My mum motioned for me to come to her. She picked me up. Sky, this is your dad. She spoke, wiping a tear from her eye. I reached out towards him. He took me from my mum's arms and hugged me. I buried my face in his white hoodie. He held me close like he would never let me go again. I missed you, Sky, he finally said. I missed you too, Daddy, I cried. I snapped to reality to see Jack sitting there at the edge of my bed, trying to wake me up. Damn it, Jack, can't you see I'm dreaming? I said, punching him. Sky, the girl who sleeps until 3 p.m. on weekends, he said, grabbing my arm and pulling me out of bed. By the way, put clothes on, he said, exiting my room. I slipped on a black t-shirt and a pair of shorts. Looking in the mirror, I did my makeup and combed my light brown hair, which was mid-back length. I looked into the mirror one final time and sighed, unamused with how I looked. But then again, I was the normal person in this family. I entered the TV room to see Jack and Ben playing video games while Sally and Slendy watched. Morning, I said casually, walking into the room. Well, aren't you looking cute? Ben said, barely turning from the game. Very funny, I said sarcastically, sitting next to Sally on the couch. Do you know where my parents are? Jeff's out killing, I rolled my eyes, and Hope's somewhere in the forest, Sally answered. Okay, thanks. I got up and moved towards the front door. Aren't you going to eat something? Ben asked. Haha, Ben, you're on a roll today, I laughed, leaving the house. I walked through the woods, looking for my mum. She knew something. They all knew something, but they weren't telling me, and it had something to do with my dream. Well, what do we have here? I turned around to see 3 boys who looked a couple years older than me standing right behind. She looks weak. We could take her down easily, a tall boy with longish blonde hair said. Oh man, what a prize this one would be. A boy with red hair approached me. Leave me alone, I said faintly, taking a step back. Guys, don't you remember who lives in these woods? The third boy laughed. He had brown hair that almost covered his amazing emerald green eyes. Jeff the Killer? What do you think, Rick? The tall boy said in a mocking tone. Oh no, not Jeff the Killer, Rick, the boy with red hair, answered. They all laughed. When he gets here, he's going to kick your asses, I snarled through my teeth. We have a believer. This is gold. Tom, Brent, come here. Rick called the other 2 boys over to me. By the way, this is Tom, he pointed to the tall one, and this is Brent, he pointed to the one with amazing eyes. What's your name, darling? Brent asked me. Why would I tell you? Well, it's either that or we call you girl, Tom answered. Sky, I sighed. Last name? As if. I rolled my eyes. Boys, grab her. Rick snapped his fingers. Hey, I yelled as Brent and Tom grabbed my wrists. Let go. Sorry, sweetheart, but we can't do that, Brent said. Guys, what's that? Rick said, pointing into the distance. I looked and smiled. You're in for it now. It's just a tree, Rick, Tom groaned, annoyed. You're right. Let's get this over with, he said, pulling out a knife. Don't you dare, I squirmed, trying to break the grasps of the 2 boys who were holding me. Rick raised the knife to my face and slashed right by my eye. I screamed and kicked him right in the balls. He fell over in pain. You bitch, his voice squeaked over as he stood up. Guys, is it just me or is that tree moving? Brent pointed. You pussies are so paranoid. Yeah, it's just a tree. Keep telling yourselves that. The tree was definitely getting closer. Fine, bitch, let's go investigate. Shit, dude, I think it's Slender Man, Tom said. That's just a myth. Rick said, rolling his eyes. Is it? I laughed. I'll prove it. Take her with you, Brent said, shoving me forward, in case you need a sacrifice. Rick grabbed my wrist and dragged me closer and closer. Do you hear that? Rick asked, referring to the static noise. Oh yes, I do. I think you should turn around. I laughed again. He slowly turned around, which also caused me to turn around. And standing right in front of us was Slender Man. Rick let go of my hand and I turned back around as I heard his screams slowly die. Sky, what have I told you about going into the woods when it's dark? He asked. It wasn't dark when I left, I groaned. You're lucky I was here to save you. Now come on, let's go home, he said, putting his hand on my shoulder. Where the hell have you been? My mum sat with her arms crossed at the table when Slendy and I walked in the door. I was originally out looking for you. Why wouldn't you start looking earlier? I'm lazy, I said as I plopped onto the couch. I'm not going to be there to save you every time this happens, Sky, Slendy said. Well, you have been so far. You should start carrying a knife around with you, Ben said, turning off his video game. I already told you I refuse to be like you guys, I pouted, crossing my arms. Just go to your room and we'll talk about this when your father gets home. My mum shook her head at me. I lazily lifted myself from the couch and went up to my room, where I collapsed on my bed. I don't think you understand what it's like to live in a house full of killers and you're the only non-killer. Let's just say it's hard. I closed my eyes when I heard the door open and my dad walked in. Hey, Sky. He sat on the edge of my bed. As my eyes adjusted to the darkness, I saw that he was covered in blood. Dad, you'll get blood all over my shit, I yelled, shoving him from my bed. Sorry. He tucked his hands into his pockets. Mom's being a bitch again. Don't talk about your mother like that. You guys still treat me like I'm a baby. How old are you again? He laughed. Dad, I yelled. You're coming killing with me tomorrow. No, I'm not. Too late. I've made up my mind, he said, walking out of my room. Of all bad things that could possibly happen, this was by far the worst. Just because I was born into a family of killers doesn't mean I'm automatically a killer. So the fact I was dragged through a town to kill people at 4:30 in the morning didn't put me in the brightest of moods. Oh, come on, sweetheart, it's not as bad as it sounds, he said reassuringly. Murdering innocent people? Okay, so it's pretty bad. Yeah, that's what I thought, I said groggily. Sally does it and she's younger than you, Jeff said, stopping in front of a house. Technically, she's older than me, I said, looking at the house and feeling a rush of guilt come over me. Sky, you need to stop being a smart-ass. Dad, please don't make me do this, I begged. Too late. He gave me a cartoonish maniac laugh and climbed up to the house and into the window. Once he was gone, I took my chance and walked away from the house. Once I was far away from my fucked-up father, I took a breath of relief. Why couldn't I have been born into a normal life with normal friends? Sky? Someone asked from behind me. You? I snarled, taking a step back. What? How did Slenderman not kill you? He asked. I'm special, I said sarcastically. I'm Brent, by the way. He looked down. Yeah, I know. Your asshole friend told me all your names. Hey, I'm sorry about that. I was just acting cool around my friends. Yeah, because murdering random girls you see in the woods is really cool. I rolled my eyes. Let me make it up to you, he insisted, taking a step closer to me. No way. Please, just give me a chance. I feel horrible about what I did, he begged. I realised that my dad would probably come looking for me, and that's a chance I was not willing to take. Fine. How are you making it up to me? I crossed my arms and cocked my hip. There's a frozen yogurt right around the corner. I had never had frozen yogurt before, so I figured, why the fuck not? Great, I smiled a little as we started to walk. So why were you out in the woods last night? He asked. I was, looking for my mum. Your mum? What was she doing in the woods at night? I tensed. I couldn't tell him that both my parents were killers. No reason. I couldn't come up with a clever lie. Oh well, here we are. He tucked his hands into his pockets. Whoa, I said, walking into the froyo place. What, never had a frozen yogurt before? He said, smirking. No, actually, I haven't. I smiled, looking around. Is this what it felt like, to be a normal girl? Well, come on. It's even more exciting after you actually eat it. He winked, walking in front of me. We sat down at a table outside. Well, I better get going. I stood up, remembering how I ditched my dad. What? We just finished eating. Want to see a movie or something? No, you already made it up to me, so thanks, but I need to go. I smiled and turned around, knowing I would be in so much trouble when I got home. I was walking home through the woods when I saw my house. I put my hood on. I did not feel like being screamed at by my mum and dad. As I walked towards my house, I kept thinking, and the more I thought, the more I got pissed off. I shouldn't get in trouble for wanting not to kill someone. I'm my own person. They can't control me. I opened the front door, and sure enough, my dad was sitting on the couch next to my mum. It was just them. Sky, come over here, my mother said sweetly. Oh no. I walked over to them and sat down on the couch next to theirs. Yes, mother? I asked sarcastically. Where were you today? She asked me. Oh, I just went into town. And you left your dad? Mom, Dad, you shouldn't be mad at me because I don't want to kill. Sky, you're a part of a family of killers, my dad said. Just because you guys are monsters doesn't mean that I have to be one too, I yelled, standing up. Calm down, my mother snapped. No, Mom. I love you guys, but I don't want to be a lunatic. If you loved us, you would at least try, my dad said. I felt tears run to my eyes. I ran into my room and slammed the door. They don't understand what it's like. The only time I have ever felt free was when I was with Brent. And even though I hated him, I knew I had to see him again.